mysterious, invisible way, we're all connected to one another. So I'm going to try something over here that has to do with that connection, and I'm going to need to get a couple of people who are volunteers or who are willing volunteers for this. And let's see, would you be a willing volunteer?
Sure.
What is your name? Jackie. We've never met before, have we? Okay.
That's impossible.
I just want to make sure that they know that you had no idea you were going to be doing this with me, right? And let's see, over here we have Diane. Diane says no.
Not willing.
Not willing. But would you be willing to volunteer?
Sure.
What's your name?
Tabor.
Tabor. Very nice to meet you. Tabor and Jackie, give them both a big round of applause. Try something kind of interesting with the two of you. Yeah, have a seat right over here. Have a seat right over here. They are kind of like high chairs. But what we'll try here is you guys ever met before? Okay, then that's perfect. If you've never met before, shake hands. You guys are going to be the team, okay? So, Tabor and Jackie, my name is Alon, by the way. Very nice to meet you all. And have you ever had a psychic experience? Jackie? Okay, good, perfect for you. So we're going to try to create a psychic connection between Tabor and Jackie. To do this, I need you to sit sort of tall in your chairs. Backs, your heads aligned with your spine. Go ahead and close your eyes right now. And imagine in your mind's eye a little visualization. I just want you to go with me on this, okay? Imagine in your mind's eye, all you see are clouds billowing forth. And when I count to 3, you're both going to take a deep breath. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, breathe out. Imagine blowing those clouds, and as they part up ahead, you see a staircase. The staircase leads upwards. I want you to imagine yourself walking towards the stairs, looking up the stairs, and then walking up the stairs. So with each step you take up the stairs, now your body becomes more and more relaxed. Each step you take up the stairs, body becomes more and more relaxed until you reach the very top. Now when you get to the top step, imagine yourselves seeing a doorway up ahead. Walk up to that door, step through it, and let the door shut behind you. You find yourself in a dark hallway, but up ahead you see some light. So imagine yourselves at this point, walking towards that light, allowing it to get larger and larger, brighter and brighter as you approach it. You realize the spotlight hanging down from the ceiling, casting a pool of light on the floor in front of you. At this point, imagine yourself stepping into that spotlight so you see each other at this point. So Tabor now sees Jackie on one side, Jackie sees Tabor on the other side. They shake hands in the center of that spotlight, take one step backwards out of the spotlight, and have a seat in those 2 chairs, conveniently located behind you in your imagination. And now in these 2 chairs, I want you to imagine yourselves closing your eyes yet again. That way you're closing your eyes both physically and mentally. And in this state of mind, we're going to see if you can try to link your thoughts together. So imagine your body's feeling completely sensitized. Every single thing you feel, starting now, I'm going to have you take note of. If you feel me tap or touch you, stay completely still. But just count how many times you feel me tap or touch you. I might take a feather, brush it across your face. Stay completely still, but just count how many times you feel that feather brush across the face, roughly where it is across the face you feel that feather. But first, let's focus on the tapping because I tapped. One of you, raise your left hand if you felt tapped. Now with your left hand, please point to the area of your body that you felt tapped on. And with your left hand, please hold up the number of fingers corresponding to how many times you felt me tap you there. Place your left hand down. And now let's focus on the brushing the feather across the face. Raise your left hand if you felt the brush across the face with a feather. And now with your left hand, please point to the area of your face you felt brushed on. And with your left hand, hold up the number of fingers correspond to how many times you felt me brush you there. Place your left hand down. At this point, imagine yourself getting up out of your chairs. You're walking back down the hall the way you came, all the way back down towards those doors. As you arrive at the doors, imagine yourself stepping through the doors and letting the door shut behind you. You find yourself at the top platform of the staircase looking down. Now with each step you take down the stairs, your body becomes more and more aware of the people looking upon you. Shifting around in front of you. When I clap my hands, you'll both open your eyes, and tonight you'll have the deepest sound of sleep you've had in a very long time. Are you ready? Open your eyes. Give them a big cheer. There we go.
Poker hand. Do we have any poker players in here? Oh, yeah. So if you can see, I have 3 kings and a 4. Now what I'd want to do is get rid of that 4 and probably change it into a king, giving me 4 kings. But instead, I changed that into an ace and the other 3 into aces. Which begs the question, where are the kings? If you would open up your wallet, if you go into your, no, I'm kidding. Well, I'll take this hand here, reach into my pocket, and pull out a king. Take my hand again, reach into this pocket, and pull out a second king. That gives us 2 kings. We got 2 more to go with the aces. Pull out the 3rd king here, and finally reach into this pocket and pull out the last king. We got the 4 kings and 4 aces. Ken, aces or kings, your choice.
Kings.
I paid you $100 to say aces. Until I said kings, look. The aces are gone again. Reach into this pocket, get out the ace.
That's
Reach
impossible.
into this pocket and get out
Impossible.
the ace. Reach into this pocket and get out the ace. And finally, here you can reach into there. I believe there's an ace in there. And the final ace.
Hey, Mark, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it.
Gentlemen.
Joe.
Hello, everyone. I know at least 4 of you here. This routine, but too bad. My name is Joe Meador. I'm a magician. This is less of a magic trick and more of a test to see just how much fun you're having. The questions start off easy, they get harder as we go along. So question number 1 is, what am I holding?
Rope.
See, it starts off easy. Now, if we fold the rope in half, how many middles does the rope have?
1.
How many ends?
2.
Are you sure?
What?
How many middles?
1.
How many ends?
3.
Are you sure? All right, this is kind of confusing. We're actually going to take 2 of these ends, move them all the way down just like so. This is Kent's favorite part. How many ends here?
2.
How many ends here?
2.
And how many ropes?
2.
Are you sure?
Joe, it's a spiritual experience every time.
Are you guys confused?
Yes.
Excellent, we'll start again. We have 1 rope, we have how many middles?
1.
How many ends?
2.
Seem a little more unsure this time. But we really do have only 2 ends, only 1 middle. Let's see here. Can you just help me out? Can you hold 1 end in each hand for me? Perfect, because I really want you guys to see that there's only 2 ends right there. And there's only 1 middle right there. That's very... I can fix that. We're going to take the ends, we're going to tie them right onto the middle. And if you watch really carefully, you might actually see them melt. Right. Back. Are you guys confused?
Yes.
Excellent, we'll start again. We have 1 rope, we have how many middles?
1.
How many ends?
2.
How many scissors?
None.
None, very good, these are fingers. I guess not a lot of people drinking this evening. Alright, we're gonna find the center of the rope, we're gonna just do a little bit of a snip, just like so, check it out. I almost got me with a star. Cool. But a little wave, a little snap, a little tug, you're gonna notice one gets a little longer while one gets a little shorter. Another tug, 1 longer, 1 shorter, 1 shorter, 1 longer, 1 longer, 1 shorter, 1 shorter, 1 longer.
What the heck?
Until now we have a long rope here and a short rope here.
What the heck?
Here's the thing, we cannot end it like this, because this is not how we started. We have to end how we started, because that's the rules. So we're going to take the short rope, we're going to tie right onto the longer rope. And I want you to notice how long that short rope is, because that's all going to change really soon. As I move my hand up and down that short rope, it's going to start to melt into the longer rope as it becomes one. And it gets shorter, and shorter, and shorter. Till all we have left is a knot. We simply untie the knot. And we're left with one long. Exhale. Okay, we're fine. All right, so Kent, tell us where you're from. How did you get started in magic?
I'm from Maine, and I started in magic based primarily in insecurity. Only relatable to two people here? No. So we're willing to admit it. Yeah, exactly. Let's be honest, folks. No, my uncle showed me a trick, and that was the coolest thing in the world. So then I came to the next family reunion with 6 hours of material. It wasn't all good, but it was there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what kind of magic did you start out with versus what kind of magic are you doing now? Card tricks, close-up magic. I still love all of that. I still do that primarily at corporate events. Hi. You can just talk to me at any point. And now I do a show called Ghost Stories up at the Mandalay Bay. And what exactly is it?
That is, Ghost Stories is a, I guess I would call it a bizarre magic show. But it's a good one. It's a good, yeah, well, you haven't seen it yet, so you can make a judgment. But yeah, it's a mind reading show that was kind of crammed into a spooky vibe, and then as we built it out and did it more, it became sort of more spooky and better. You know, we figure out what it is while we're doing it, as so many of these things, as is true of so many of these types of things. I actually got that gig really interesting. People say, like, you know, we're all so damn lucky that we have any ability to do any performances. You know, when people say, how did you get that gig? And it's, you know, you want to bootstrap and say, like, oh, you know, perseverance, hard work, but I had a gig salad page. That's what it was. The guy found me on Gig Salad, and it was the room where the magician's study used to be. You guys have seen that those ads for that rabbit head guy. That was the room he used to be in, and then he left that room. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who is he?
That's a big secret. Yeah, he actually, his name starts with T and rhymes with Tim. And I actually don't know his name, to be honest. Yeah. But he's, the show was really good, but as you can probably guess, the marketing was really, really strong on that show. Because when you're there and you see it on Facebook or whatever for the magician's study, it's like, ooh, that's fascinating. That feels like I'm getting behind the curtain, you know? Mm-hmm. And, but he would often, as far as I understand, he would often refund magicians because he wasn't doing anything that's like really mind-bending to your average magical performer. Yeah, now he's doing it. He now actually is doing that. Because what ended up happening is he got moved out of space, and because he got an offer from another casino, basically, that they were gonna, I guess, salary him and do some kind of deal. And it was better than he was getting there, and so the owner of the space was looking for other acts, and he found me on Gig Salad. Wow. Of all places. Awesome. Yeah, reached out to me. It's insane. So Tracy, that's the secret. You want to do a spooky show? Stay on Gig Salad. But yeah, that was the impetus. That's how that started. But then we were in there for a little bit. I couldn't do my normal mentalism, pop mentalism show because there was another guy in there, Steve Falcon, who was a hypnotist and comedian. He was also doing a show in there called The Hidden Chamber, and that was just kind of your normal pop mentalism show. And so he wanted to bring in something else, but also something spooky. And so he was like, just don't be in his lane, get in the spooky lane. And so I just crammed all of my mind reading material into spooky vibes and made it happen. Can we have Michael join us up here too?
Sure.
All right, Michael, can you come and join us up here? If we're talking about ghost stories, I gotta have Michael here. He's been with me basically since the beginning of the show. He runs tech and audio for the show and does the pre-show work, and we bounce ideas all over the place. There's a lot of Michael's fingerprints on that show. So if you come and see it, you'll see a lot of his hard work there.
And how did you two meet?
In the magic shop, I believe. But I invited him to a board game night.
Yeah, he was the first person I met with more board games than me.
Yes!
I didn't believe him. He said he had a lot of board games. I was like, no, I'm alone.
It's a room full of board games.
The board raising flex like a...
It's like picture Gary Darwin's cups and balls room,
Yeah.
but with board games.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's actually there's a couple things that I thought would be interesting to touch on, but I mean, I don't know. Do you have more like in your agenda? I didn't kind of cut thrown into this.
Well, you know what? The more you talk, the less of my agenda I have to pull from.
Okay, good.
I'm just here for awkward silences.
Oh, good, great. So we'll produce a few of those for you
thank
to get your merit out there. But so one thing that I want to say, because I'm in front of a magic community here, is that there's is it called a pandemic among magic communities? I don't know. There's a disease that magicians have, and I don't understand it. And it's a fairly common magician disease, and you know what I'm talking about now, right? And I actually have something to add to this. It is pretending that you like the show less than you do while watching it. And later when talking about it, this is the addition, doing the opposite. Pretending you liked the show more than you did. And that is something that I have often noticed in the magic community in a very strong way.
Yeah. Magicians don't just have it, comedians do too.
Oh, I
It's
see.
called that's funny disease.
Funny joke. Although apparently that's a high compliment in the magic community. Was it Seth? No.
Seth, yeah.
Seth, yeah, okay, good. Same thing in comedy, when other comedians come and watch, I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Funny joke.
Yeah.
I'd be laughing at that if I was not a psychopath.
Right.
So like, obviously in magic we all know, we're not going to be fooled very often, right? But I do notice, and even Elliot Hitchcock, and I'll call him out because I gave him free tickets, you know? You get free tickets to a magic show, and if you're not the most supportive person in the room, then you are fucking all of us. Like, thank you.
In words of, I'm a whooper, so you heard me whoop, whoop.
Oh yeah, I love whooping.
I'm a whooper.
Whooping is great.
So, and I'm always, actually, when I was a little kid, the way I used to get back, I remember, I wish a lot of, like, even Lance Burton knew me as a kid because I was loud.
Yeah.
And when Joseph Gabriel used to go, I mean, everyone was like,
Yeah. Yes.
And when Copperfield, I used to watch all the shows. I was always the first, and also David, which one thing he really loved about me, and actually I don't want to go into details on this one, but I was always the first one to go.
Make them feel judged.
Everybody stands up. Because really in the show business, it's so weird how the people that are supposed to be going to the parties and creating the parties don't bring party energy. And it's like kind of mind-blowing sometimes.
Yeah.
You're like, really, because a lot of times the audience doesn't know how to react because their TV, like a great magician girl, kind of, I'm not going to get her name right. I want to say it's Lisa something, but I don't want to give her last name. Maybe, but I'm not sure. She's the.
She was awesome.
She's off. I think it is her the TV show or live television. This is how old this shit is. So she came up with a squirt gun, and she goes, "Do you know the difference between live and television?" And she goes, "No."
This is funny.
Squirt her right in the face.
Yeah.
She goes, "This is live." The difference.
That's good.
Yeah, it's all good, right?
In everyone's act right now, please.
If he comes to see your show, he is like your number one supporter.
Yeah, you did a great job just bringing that up, because truthfully.
Thank you. That's the only thing. I can't say anything that's going to help anyone at all. Period. Like everyone's got their own. Everyone's got their own thing. Everyone's got their own ego. Like everyone's got their own thing. Like I don't want to give anybody notes necessarily. I love receiving notes, but I don't want to give notes for anyone's performance or anything like that. All that's crap. We're all doing, even the 21 card trick blows people away, so it's like, screw it, like let's just enjoy ourselves. But if you're at a magic show, this is the one thing I can say for sure, especially if you didn't pay for the tickets. Your job is to lead the audience. That's your job.
Which is exactly the point that I was going to make. I do give comp tickets because I write about shows.
Yes.
And by the way, if you comp me and I don't like your show, I won't write about it.
Yes. That's how she gets around town. This one.
I have integrity issues, so I don't write bad reviews. I just won't write it. But sometimes I get tickets for somebody else, and I say, look, here's the deal. Be the starter.
Yeah, starter, exactly.
Starter, be the clap starter, be the laugh starter, be the appreciative audience. So the term is, and it's my I coined it, be the starter.
Yeah,
And if you've had me in your audience, I love this.
May I say one quick thing?
Yeah.
If I may just say one quick thing, it's even, and this is not trying to be fake at all, because this is really just the love for the show business, because really there's a business and there's a show business, and really you're helping them with their career and their life. And your applause is not just helping their ego, it's actually feeding their families. Because really,
He's got a lot of cats.
Right? So a lot of times people don't really feel the importance. So even if you don't like the show, you got free tickets to the show, still applaud for the show. Don't be like, oh, I don't like it. In my personal opinion, just as because there's so much magic that we're judgmental about being an artist. And I'm super judgmental. In my own way, not judgmental, but I love these. But I always applaud. I don't talk shit. I support these because we're all in this together. And really, you have to help everybody rise. Don't worry about you rising by yourself, because if everyone doesn't rise, it's not really the community rising. Magic really needs that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go.
Woohoo!
With that said, there's the other half of it too, which is the part that's much harder, which is the part about avoiding conflict by pretending that you liked the show more than you did usually, which is what people do after the show. I find myself doing this sometimes, and I have to check myself a bit. But if I see some bad material, it's hard to do that. But I would love. It's easier just to say, "Hey guys, clap at the shows," because that's very straightforward. It's much harder to say, lose the egos, take some advice, start that thing over. I try to do it myself. It's hard. But definitely there is this thing where people will see something that is objectively poor, and then they'll say, oh, great, man, great, good, great. It's like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So how do we handle that? I don't know. That's a much harder problem.
Take it up. You've never been better.
Yeah. That was the old, what was it, burning quote? If you were half as good as you think you are, you'd be twice as good as you are. Yeah.
I use a line because I think I'm on our show is a line.
I never want to hear this line.
If I don't, I think something is not that good, I can say that was interesting.
There you go. It was interesting.
That's funny.
I've seen our very end.
That's funny.
Now you know forever what she said.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Jackie Bear is probably the #1 agent of magicians of all time in Las Vegas.
Well, that's a great line. I mean, personally, I've never heard anyone say that to me, but I'm very uninterested. That's right.
How would you challenge the magician goes to your boss and goes, listen, I can do a similar show for half the price.
I don't see it that it's not that way. I don't think about it in that way. But there are times, and not to bring up any drama. There's a lot of people who want to be in that space, and I'm very lucky to be there. I want to be an ally for the people who want to be in that space. Like, you don't want to go in cold. You can come to me and say, you know, hey, what do you think works there? And that's something that I can probably help facilitate. So whenever I personally don't think that there's any competition in the magic world. Not yet. Not until we have, not until it's unheard of to not have a magician at your wedding. You know, not until it's unheard of to not have a
magician back there.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. If there are magicians everywhere, at every corporate event, and every wedding, and every birthday party, okay, now we can talk about whether it's competition or not. Every room, whatever. But until then, it's like, we're not in competition. So just like, the supportive thing is really important. I think that's, I don't know, I don't really know what to say about that. I've never been too concerned with people coming in and saying that they can do a better show, a better deal, or whatever. Because frankly, it's all about, with this kind of thing that I'm currently doing, it's all about relationships. And it's less about, you know, whether or not your show is higher quality or you're going to do a better deal for the person. It's more about who you know, and that's an unfortunate but very, very real truth. That has always been true about you. Isn't that right, Jackie? All right, now I know Jackie, so see ya.
We also do a lot for them.
Yeah, we do a lot for them too. Like, we're building that relationship. So if somebody else comes in and says, hey, I'm David Copperfield, whatever, I'm going to do this, that, and the other, then they'll probably, the owner of the space will just be like, Ken, who's this David Copperfield? Because they like us, you know? We don't even have a contract. To be honest, I rarely even work with contracts in terms of like shows like that. Just there's an agreement and everyone follows. Yeah, that being said, it's all of that said, as long as we all agree to like that general rule of being the biggest fan in the room, we were going to raffle off tickets to the show, but screw that. Like, if you bought a ticket, then he owes you a Coke. Just contact me, and you can come to the show. I'll get you tickets. Like, it's fine. It's a very small room. It's a very cool show. I'd love to have everybody out and talk afterwards and take your notes. If you have them. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes, it's a free ticket. Yes. Correct.
So I have to be honest. I've never paid.
Okay, that right there. So this is what I had to do yesterday. This was a funny one. So Elliot during this, there was a, and I'll tell the story, and Elliot can defend himself if he wants to, but it's not an offense. I'm not mad at him. A lot of times when magicians are watching shows, they're watching it analytically. You know, it's not like, yeah, it's like that. And they're thinking about it, thinking, oh, that's cool. That's how would I do that? But if you're in a little intimate space and there's 30 people in there, and like one of those people is just refusing to participate in the show on any level, like just mean mugging it the whole time. Thank goodness he was in the back row. But there's a moment in the show where it is such an obvious applause cue. It's like one of those things that you don't have to say. They just all start doing it. And I look at the whole room is lit up with joy, and it was a fun routine. And then there's Elliot.
Are we talking about Elliot right now?
Yes! I'd talk about him if he was here, though. I intended to. No, he's fine, though. He's fine.
He's texting, so he's okay.
He's texting, he's fine. But this is not an affront to Elliot. This is to say that Elliot...
From Elliot, he says we should change it.
Oh, yeah. It's just I don't have I don't know what's right and wrong. I never tell anyone what's right and wrong, but I think that if Elliot were doing a show, he would want me in the audience to be applauding. Right? That's what I think. And so if that's true, then I feel very comfortable calling people out on that. There were a couple of guys who came and they were in the front row. And they came, and I got them free tickets from the Darwin meetup. Oh boy, they were mean mugging me the whole time, start to finish. They were like this. Front row taking up a third of my entire front row. It's only 30 seats in.
What do you do if you have 12,000 people though?
What do you don't get mad.
Well, I'm just asking, because I work for people, 12,000 to 60,000 people every day for 7 years.
Well, I don't understand what you mean at all. Can you help me out?
Well, you can't.
You say you're talking about a 60,000 person magic show audience.
No.
Oh, okay. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about if you had 12,000 people. There's a lot of people that don't ever show any emotion. I know, I did it forever.
Well, yeah, okay. So there's this thing about
You have to play for everybody.
Well, of course.
I think
He's just talking about professional courtesy, not
Professional-
audience
yeah.
attention.
Yes, yeah.
Well, we had people though that would boo us, you know, just because.
Oh, I don't get magicians booing me.
Boo!
That's a different.
I was working with 300 people though. I'm from Ringling Brothers in Barn Bay Service.
Oh, cool.
So
yes.
I did a lot of that for a long time.
Well, that's awesome. But I mean, that's an entirely different animal than
Yeah, it is.
a magician going to an intimate magic show.
Yeah, but if I may say something, it's one of those weird things. I think you have to educate the audience in a certain way, because like I've had even people tell me, I remember doing magic for someone with humility, and they're stoned. They're stoned. And then I walk away and they're like, wow, that was the most amazing thing, you changed my life. I'm like,
Yeah.
you were just like,
That's a comment about generally how an audience of lay people may respond. All I intend to convey here is that magicians ought to be showing each other professional courtesy.
Yeah,
That's all
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. And it's not I'm not offended, I'm just curious. And what I think is happening in the mind of, when Ellie's seeing the show, and those two guys are mean mugging me in the front row, it's just, I think they're just watching a different show than everyone else. They're analyzing. And they're saying, well, how would I do that? Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, cool. And I had a magician come with a notepad. And he was sitting back going, oh, I don't care. I think that. To me, he covered both spectrums. So that's the worst of it, is with the notepad, but he was also the first one to clap. And so I was like honored on both sides of that, because it's like, oh, you're taking notes during my show. That's pretty cool. That's a nice thing for me. It's a little weird for the audience to see that happening in a tight room, but whatever. And then he was also the most supportive person in the room. So that was okay for me.
Balances out, but that's
And
weird.
what times are your shows at? When are the dark nights?
Shows are Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We do six shows a week, 7 o'clock Thursday through Sunday, and then 9 p.m. as well, Friday and Saturday. And that is, that might expand. But right now, that's where we're at.
That's awesome.
So if anyone wants to come on any day, you can go to the 1923 website for the Mandalay, and they show, there's a ticket page, and sometimes we have dark nights if I've got an event or they've got an event. But anywhere in there, if you say, hey, I want to come to this show, just message me on Facebook or email or whatever, and we'll get you tickets.
Occasionally you have a fill-in. I saw Banachek.
Yes, Banachek will once in a while fill in if I'm touring or whatever. And yeah, oh man, what a thing to say, right? Right? In this room? Right?
That's awesome.
One thing I'll never be is in the Cool Kids Club, guys. I promise you that. Holy shit, Banachek covers for me.
And you used to work in his show.
That's true,
and
yeah.
then now
Yeah.
it's turn.
I used to move furniture for him.
He's on the ship right now.
He's on the ships right now. Yeah. But
He's my neighbor.
Nice. Oh, you live in the neighborhood, so you must hang out with him and Nick then once in a while. I see them.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
I've taken them to shows with them.
Great. Okay. Well, I guess I got to move into that neighborhood.
Okay, I told drummer recorder, there is no notebook here, whatever you say isn't in the room, but I'm going to take this opportunity to address the elephant in the room.
Should I game that much?
Magicians explaining how tricks are done. I'm not naming names of anyone who was blackballed by the Magic Castle.
Naming names that Eben rhymes with Murray? Is that what you're
I mean, I know he said, hey, it's stuff that you can find in any store, because what's the feeling in the magic community, and I'm not quoting anyone,
Or what's your feeling?
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
we're on the tall chairs, aren't we? Doesn't matter. I don't think exposure has ever personally hurt me, but I'm not in love with it. I'm pretty flatlined on it. I don't want to get involved in all that drama. I just want to go do my thing. Like I think you see the thumb tip exposed, and then you fool people with a thumb tip. It's like it's not right to take somebody up. It's clearly not right to take someone's marketed effect and expose it and make it so that they no longer like sell that effect. I guess if that affects the bottom line. Exposure has never affected my bottom line as far as I can tell, or the enjoyment that an audience has had at my shows. But I suppose if you're doing that material, the one thing that with those interviews with podcasts that came out, I always noticed that they always made sure to say that it's not about the money. They made sure to say that. And I'm like, hey, I'm not judging anybody. I don't care. Your exposure doesn't hurt me. But come on. Like if you just said that at the start, if they said like, oh yeah, we make great money doing this and it's incredibly incentivizing. I'm a millionaire now. It's like, okay, that's an honest conversation. Like that's a place to start. It just feels like bad arguments all around. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
Well, I just don't like the TikTok style of in 10 seconds showing 6 different tricks. Like do a thing and then show it, do a thing and then show it. Like that's just exposure. It's not actually, you don't even see the trick.
yeah.
It's just exposing how it's done. I think that's pretty lame.
Yeah.
But like
It's like a gross.
having a YouTube channel where you teach, you know, like Brian Rushwood doing scam school and stuff. Like, I think that's fine.
Yeah, definitively that falls underneath exposure, and I think if Brian Rushford walked in here, we wouldn't boo him,
No.
right? We'd all be happy.
Joan?
Yeah, please.
Well, I mean, I've lived through the Masked Magician.
You're still alive.
And still alive. The thing is that, like, back in the day, Masked Magician, most of the stuff he did, people didn't do. Like, there were some things like sawing in half and loving king rings, but there was a lot of stuff that people didn't do. And there was a lot of people that I didn't think what he was doing was right. But let me tell you, Jonathan Pendragon's Clearly Impossible sawing in half never got as good a reaction as when the Masked Magician was popular. Because he would come out and he would say, how many people have seen the Masked Magician? Everyone would be like, yeah. How many people know how to saw a lady in half? And he'd be like, yeah. There you go. I'm going to do mine with a clear box. And people were stunned. And then after people forgot about the Masked Magician, he would do Clearly Impossible. And they'd be like, oh, that's cool. So there's like 2 sides to it. Yeah, like, you know, so fun to fool magicians because you lead them down one path because they know how stuff's done and then you're like switch it up on them. That's fun. But if it's somebody's marketing effect, it's not the exposure, it's the theft.
Yes.
So and that is not good. When Penn and Teller do blast off, they invented blast off in order to expose it, and the exposed version is way better than the magic version.
Yeah.
But they invented it, and so they can expose it. They're not stealing from themselves. You know, they're not. That when they do the cups and balls that are in the clear cups, it's not exposure because you still can't tell how they're doing it, and it's in the clear. It's in the clear. But it's the theft that bothers me, you know.
Well said. Yes, Jack?
I'm very familiar with what you're talking about.
Oh yeah?
And that person will do anything for exposure.
I bet.
Including if you put a red
Including exposure.
carpet, if you put a red carpet in front of a refrigerator, he would show up for the opening of the refrigerator.
That's hilarious.
I watched it. Terrible.
Oh my God, yeah, that particular sketch that we all saw and that got this whole thing started, so bad, so stupid.
It
right?
was terrible.
It didn't have entertainment value.
Every little bit of respect he had from the magic community, he lost right there.
Yeah.
Including 86 from the
From the castle, yeah.
Which he actually capitalized on by publishing the exposure letter on
For the
TV.
oh yeah.
Yeah, well, if you're doing it for the money, it's one thing, but to do it just to
for the money and the fame or whatever, to get yourself out there.
He was doing it for fame.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
I have booked him, and I have had all the profits. I even had a buyout from a major cruise line.
How do you afford all the bleach?
There are people, I'm sure we all don't find, but I think in this group, we should all follow the golden rule, right? If we don't know, we don't like somebody, maybe we just don't talk about it.
You guys-
We follow the same principle
Fair enough.
in real estate, right? So, and this is not this kind of thing. So let's not get too far down.
Good point.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well
The truth
said.
is about exposing
Good point, Bob.
magic.
YouTube is doing a great job. Every kid, every 13-year-old is doing a course. If anything, they're influenced to like the magic, they come see our shows, right? Right? So,
That's true. That's a great
I'm
point.
just not talking about the person, but about what happens to the
general.
family.
You know
Yeah.
what? Don't be fooled. There's a lot of people who go, look, I'm going to reveal this thing, and they go on the press.
Final questions.
Oh, well, the final thought on that is the people who love magic the most are usually magicians.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for
so
sure.
Giving a person a chance to like have a little introduction to it without going down that rabbit hole and exposing the theft of people's working material, I think can, ultimately, because all of us eventually have magic exposed to us. That's what kind of started in it.
Yeah.
And so being able to do it in a way that, inspires creativity and performance and art, I think is a benefit as opposed to a cheap laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a question, and it's one of my favorite questions to ask. And it's along the exposure line, but when you were a kid, what trick did you find out the method of that disappointed you the most?
Oh.
Mine was pen through coin, or cigarette through coin back in the day.
Oh God, yeah.
How can you
That's
disagree
great
with that?
example.
Devastated. What was yours?
Oh no, I can't think of it. I don't know. Mark, you got an answer.
I saw a magician do Lincoln rings, and when I went to the magic shop to buy Lincoln rings, I thought they were broken because I saw the magician, he had 8 separate rings. And I threw the trick away. 8 separate rings. I had these rings all ready together.
That's
You did the
right.
wrong set.
I would say mine was definitely floating dollar bill.
Oh, really?
Wow. How can that? No way. It's holy. Even when you know how it works, it's still holy.
Yeah, it looks good. If I could just touch on what you said, Will, it's like, yes, we can talk about all the little bit like exposure stuff that we want to and how we all feel about it, like internally or logically or whatever. But on a logical level, it's kind of hard to know. Like, I have a feelings-based difference, but it's hard to know like the actual logical difference between like having a library with a magic book available in it that a person wrote to be publicly available. It's like, I don't know. We all like to harken back to the time where you had to meet in a cave with a guy in a cloak. And
Are you looking at me?
that was me.
Okay, Brian, we're gonna need to wrap this
Anyway,
up.
yeah,
So
yeah.
final question.
Okay, it's not a question, it's just a statement basically of what we're talking about. Most of us grew up pre-internet. And, and so in the days that, I was growing up and learning about magic, the secrets were really, really held close, and a lot of them were like in books. So you would have to like read books and stuff in order to discover the secret. And then the internet came along, and I remember being very worried that suddenly the secrets would be just out there for everybody to learn. But then later on, I just started noticing that there were some magicians that just didn't even care. They would just do it anyway, and then famous guys would just like sell all of their products online, and it's like their whole show is sold on their website. and you're just like, how do you do that to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And so then it was around that time that I started to just sort of, mentally break down and give up, and one of the things that happened was I realized that, like, as I was like hands up in the air going, I don't know what we're gonna do with all this exposure, I started to realize that, like, magic shops, and in fact, I got into this conversation with Gary Kurtz about this. We were talking about how magic shops are the ultimate exposure.
No.
Yeah.
And so you go to a magic shop, they show you how to do the trick, and they're exposing the trick that they're showing you how to do. Now, of course, you're buying that trick, but still, it's you weren't necessarily a magician before you bought that trick. And so then, once I realized that, I was like, well, I guess that makes anybody who buys a trick a magician. It's true. And then it made me realize that, like, if a police officer goes into a magic shop and says, hey, look, I'm looking for something for my 9-year-old son, they're going to show him how to do a trick for his 9-year-old son, and that's basically exposing the idea. But it's okay exposure, because what you're doing is you're creating interest in the art form that is ours.
Yep.
And so the idea is that you try to show them something that will interest them, to perpetuate an interest in magic, to make magic something that they'll want to learn and learn from us from. And so with regards to that, I just feel like, once you're in a magic shop and you buy a trick, then poof, you're a magician.
Here.
Yes. So, Thursday through Sunday, 7 o'clock, sometimes 10.
7 o'clock, sometimes 9.
Sometimes 9.
Sometimes
All
9.
right, a big hand for Ken XL.
Oh yeah, the meeting was before the dining room set. You got it, man. Hilarious.
For the last speaker of the evening, Gary Bartlett is going to come up. He worked with I'll let him.
Gary Bartlett has seen me perform more than anybody else in the world.
So the right afternoon room is about 3 years ago, April 4th, I had a stroke. Thank you. I called 911 because I wouldn't be here had I not called. So I tell everybody, I had probably 300 magicians come to the hospital. Everybody from Steve Wire to everybody, and they all went to go get a checkup. So please, if something is ailing you, don't go to sleep and don't think about it. Go to a doctor. First and foremost, Gary Anderson died of a stroke. We also had a good friend, Scott Alexander. He went to do a show on a ship, didn't feel well, and he went to his cabin, had a stroke, and he freaking died. So if you don't feel well, please go to a doctor and get it checked out, even if it's the slightest thing. So that's my medical statement right there.
Just for some people who don't know.
Sure. I started out as a magician. I grew up in Florida. I was from Clearwater, Florida. And I always wanted to be a magician, so growing up, I became friends with a lot of famous magicians. I was starting to do backstage help with Ab Dixon and Carol Fox and a lot of the greats. And from there, I went on to work for David Copperfield in 1989. I started to work for David Copperfield, and prior to that, I worked for the Pendragons on and up for 26 years. And there isn't a magician, with the exception of Chris Angel and Murray Starchuk, that I haven't worked for. Those two I've not worked for. But, anyways, it's been a great life. I've been traveling lately with Magic on Ice, Steve Wheeler. And we were supposed to go to Saudi Arabia for 3 months, and that canceled due to COVID. And then I was supposed to go to Turkey with them. I didn't go to that. And then I was supposed to travel with Masters of Illusion, and that tour canceled. So, pardon me. And oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. But you know what? I've made a lot of great friends in this business. I'm like 56 years old. I feel like I'm 80 years old. And but I'll tell you what, I've had a great ride. If I died tomorrow, I don't regret nothing. I've had a great, great ride.
The reason Elliot asked you to come is because he's been bringing people up that have been having a hard time with health, and to give advice on how to handle your health as a performer. And I think kind of maybe what can you tell us about the battles you've been going through, and what kind of information?
Well, do what your doctor tells you, regardless of what they tell you to do. They tell you they went to school, they've got the expertise in that. Do what they tell you to do. And, you know, it's hard for me to just get out of bed. It's hard for me to put my clothes on. My left side, it's really weird because right down the center of my body, this side, everything feels like there's a bee stinging me. And on this side, I can't feel anything. I can't feel hot, cold. You stick me with a needle in my arm, I can't feel it. So when they give blood or they put IVs, I said, do it in my right arm, because I don't feel it. I feel nothing in here. And so anyways, but back to your health. And, you know, all those years growing up, it says, oh, you don't have your health, you don't have anything. I really didn't give a shit about that. I was always working. And then now that it hit me, you know, I don't know. I have trouble walking, but still getting around. But one thing I haven't done is I've not lost my PMA. I still got a positive mental attitude. And I just go out there and I give the best I can do. And that's it, you know, and I try not to apologize. And most people, you know, they accept it for what it is, but, you know, just make sure if there's something that's ailing you, get it checked out and go see a doctor.
Yes.
Anyways. For example, right here, this guy right here just beat out cancer.
Oh, nice. Watch this right here. Hey, you sit next to me.
You guys know who Earl is, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
World famous Ronald McDonald.
I was giving him your resume.
I've been in magic since I was 8 years old. I own one of the biggest magic shops here in the whole United States called Planet Earth. We have 6,600 square feet. I don't think there's anybody in here that hasn't been my customer. Probably everybody in this town, David Copperfield on.
Also, a great performer. My family performed with him in the circus for many years.
Incredible, really.
And I performed for him.
Yes, I'm a birthday.
He was a little boy.
16. My dad would hire him as my friend. Look at this. And also, you know, my dad and me, when I was young, we did a show with David. We did a presidential show for Ronald Reagan. And I got
It was one of the greatest shows ever.
It was a wonderful show. It was a wonderful meeting. It was a beautiful theater, Ford's Theater, and it was for Ronald Reagan, 1980, January 1983.
You said the funny thing?
I'm going to get this. I'm not telling everybody to go to a doctor, but you should only, and I'm going to tell the truth. I just lost my son. 3 weeks ago, he had a pain in his side, and he died the 20th of cancer. Prostate. He had liver cancer and pancreas cancer. Never even knew it. It took him 3 weeks. I had cancer 3 different times for 10 years I've been fighting. And I've survived it all from stage 4 cancer. My bladder, and I had skin cancer. I'm hopefully split my nose from here to here, my forehead, and prostate cancer. I beat it, but why you should keep on seeing the doctor is mine came back. I'm getting ready to go in for another operation, my 8th. They found a tumor in my bladder again just last week. So.
Yeah, but you beat, look how many times you beat it out.
Well, I beat it because I refused to die.
So, how do you keep your positivity? Where's your focus?
Mine was, I was refused to not live. I was instantly 10 years ago. I said, why not me? Because I don't want anybody here to have cancer. Why not me? And that's the way my whole deal was. I kept saying, I'm going to beat it one way or the other, and I did. With alternative things and with the doctors giving me everything in the world. You know, I went through 8 different sessions of chemo, autoimmune system stuff, and on and on and on. But I just refused to give up. And that's the same way in show business. If you refuse to give up, you'll be somebody. And we were talking about money and stuff. I started on the Ringling Show for $107 a week. I did 2 shows a day, 3 shows on Saturday for 7 years without a day off. Now get that. Now I lived in a room about the size, 4 feet wide and 6 feet long on a circus train. And so I did it because I wanted to be somebody. And I was fortunate enough to get to meet probably every entertainer in the business, you know.
But you didn't have to sleep with monkeys.
I think I still have a lot more to give to the entertainment world, even though it's more backstage and producing production. And so, you know, I think I stay focused on that because this is not the end of where I'm at. So in the beginning, so that's why I keep I stay away from negative people. I will not bring up a drama. No. When you start bringing up this stuff, I just will not tolerate it. I'll walk away from that.
I give the example for, we did some movies with Clint Eastwood back in the day. Now, the thing that Clint Eastwood would do is he would use the same actors and the same directors and the same people. And it's important to keep people away from you that would damage you, right? The people that appreciate what you do, you keep them because they appreciate what's going on. Everyone feeds off of each other. That's why you see a lot of people with these small groups. I imagine the same thing like that.
And stay young. I'm 79 years old and I still feel like I'm 30.
You might not know that the Hall of Fame for the circus, but there's the Earls of the Hall of Fame, the Circus International, things like for example.
That's my only claim to fame.
How many climbs in the Hall of Fame? 4? 5? How many climbs in the Hall of Fame? Only a few, right?
Well, there's 20. I think there's 26 now.
In the Hall of Fame.
But I'm not political. I hate politics. I was going to send an Indian girl to take the award. But instead, that is exactly the truth. I was in Malaysia working for the Royal London Circus, which used to be Chipperfield Circus. And so that was in 2004 when I was inducted. And so I sent him a tape, because I wasn't there. And I thanked him. I didn't care if it was this, it was a nice award. I didn't care. But I told him, I said, I'm sorry I can't be there, but I said I'm doing what anybody worth their salt. I'm doing the circus right now, one of the greatest circuses I ever worked for. 12,000 people under a tent. It was wonderful. And I thought Ringling was a holy thing.
In Malaysia?
In Malaysia. Yeah.
Been there many times.
So you have to do your passion, and I know so many of you in here that do. I mean, Mike, excuse me. Yeah, you told me I had the privilege to call you Mike. I know most everybody in here since they were really young.
Yes.
And I've grown up with a lot. I've been here since 1977, and I actually bought a ranch before that, right across from Wayne Meador, Mystic. You might remember it actually. And I love it here, and I'll be here till I fall over too. But I still do things, I still exercise every day and everything else. Keeps you young.
So we're time to do it. Yeah, we're gonna do the raffle here in a second. But you have something you want to say? Is there something? No, I'm good. You're good? You good?
I'm finished. Yeah, but I can talk for a week.
No, that's right.
I have a feeling that.
I want to point out something. So a couple of people passed away that are good friends of my family, Adam Martinez. And I find this happens a lot before or after I go into what special business you're in. Adam Martinez. So Adam would call up and he would say, hey, I'm in bad health but I just want to be a great magician. And for whatever reason, I don't know, this business creates this environment that they're worried about, not so much them, but what they do. You don't see that. A plumber not necessarily worried about, am I getting my plumbing? So there's a very special
thing about what everyone does here. You know, it brings you even more together at the end. So, but anyway, that's what I want to say.
One more thing.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a good point for people. My son asked me this once. I have 2 clown partners I worked with 52 years. And I was doing the last show with them in Florida years ago. My son, he's a clown in North Carolina now, my oldest boy. And he came to me afterwards, so I was getting ready to go to New York to do another lecture. But he said, "How can I be like you, Dad?" And I had to think about that. And I said, "What, a star?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "I never wanted to be a star. The things that happened to me was by luck and maybe by being a fairly good entertainer. I said, all I ever wanted to do in my career was to work."
Next thing we're going to do is a raffle, and Andre, you're going to pick it. You're going to pick the raffle tickets.
I guess I am.
You are. And he's performing at the Abrams, everybody, so go see him at the Abrams.
He's so smooth, he makes velvet
Check out this video right here. We'll see you back next time. Check it out.